Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again. I'm going to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my spoiler review for the 2014 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. Alright, good stuff. So if you guys missed my non-spoiler review, you may still want to check it out. I did give quite a few thoughts on the movie in that one, and this one will be the spoiler version. So in this one we can actually talk about the details, and I can kind of go into more detail with regards to the actual story itself and the things I didn't like, the few things I liked about it. So yeah, spoiler warning. So okay, here we go. So alright, the things I liked about it. I should start with that. Okay, the good things. Here's the good. Okay, the good with TMNT 2014. At times it does feel epic. It's pretty grand in terms of, you know, scale with like the buildings and the turtles are, you know, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for here? They're big themselves, you know. They do look pretty cool in certain times when they're kicking ass. The foot themselves are pretty intimidating. They're more like they're not like the foot we're used to in the older turtle movies and stuff, where they're using like martial arts. They're more you know, coming in like a SWAT team, and they're using explosives and all this kind of stuff. So that's pretty cool. Let's see. Man, I'm kind of getting stuck already. You know, it's cool to see the turtles in sort of a modern world, because we're not used to seeing a modern version of the turtles in the new world. The last one we saw, of course, was the CG movie, which, you know, I mean, that's not really like the real world. And then before that, it was the 90s turtles, and back in the 90s, so in late 80s type of thing. So it is kind of cool to see the turtles in the new world, and you know, with modern technology and everything, and you know, where the foot will use tasers and all this kind of stuff. Shredder at times does look cool. He is intimidating. The action sequences with him are pretty sweet. I do like how he'll, you know, shoot out the blades and stuff, and some of the action sequences are really cool. Part where Splinter will use his tail like some kind of, I don't know, anaconda snake or something, and whip guys down, and then he'll be beating them when they're down and stuff. So there was some cool stuff like that. Michelangelo jumping, flipping, you know, the whole scene with the snow slide down the hill and all that's pretty cool. The final battle looks good. I did like it. You know, the building falling down and everything that happened with that looked pretty good. And I guess some of the jokes were funny, how they were kind of, when Megan Fox is April, she's learning about the turtles, and she's trying to explain it to other people, and they just have no idea what she's talking about. They're kind of treating her like she's absolutely nuts, which makes sense, because in the real world that's how you would treat someone who was talking like that. So I guess all of that is what I would consider to be the good. There might be a few other little things, but that, for the most part, that's it. There are some funny lines, by the way. Mikey's still funny, like he is normally funny in the 2012 series, Nickelodeon series, or, you know, the classic 80s Mikey. You know, he is funny. You know, still, and yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Yeah, now we'll get into the bad. So, for starters, the movie, of course, starts off, and we don't even get to see the turtles right away. I mean, we have the cool intro credit scene, which was cool to introduce us to the turtles and who they are. But after that, it did look good, I'll admit that. But a lot of it just felt like they're avoiding showing us the turtles. It's like, did you guys run out of CG budget? Was it that expensive? Because CG is expensive. Was it that expensive to do the CG with all four of them? Because you see Lord of the Rings, for example, where, you know, CG was just breaking out. You had Gollum, and you know, they made his whole character in CG, and for that time it was revolutionary and everything, right? But that's one character. This is your four, I guess five if you want to count Splinter, you know, main cast characters in the movie that are all CG entirely. Your budget would just be like, and to me it feels like they did have trouble with the budget. Once they realized what they were getting themselves into, they must have felt like, holy shit, we took on too much, because it feels like in Transformers you have a Sam Witwicky, and you'll have the human characters like that, and it kind of goes from their angle, because of course it's so hard to do Transformers, rather than them just doing, you know, an Optimus movie and having Optimus be the lead character and watch him all the time, his point of view character. In this, it feels like the same kind of thing, how they had trouble with that. So instead, what they opted to do is make Megan Fox, April, your lead, your point of view character for most of the movie, and it just doesn't work, man. It just doesn't. I mean, sometimes they do that with April anyway, and they've got the whole fainting scene, which we've seen many times in the '80s cartoon and lots of other incarnations of the Turtles, of course, where she sees them for the first time and she faints. That whole thing. Then she wakes up in the sewer or whatever. So we've seen that kind of thing before as well. And once we get past that starting point, it's, we get to see more of the Turtles. It's not too bad, but Splinter looks like crap. Oh my God, does Splinter just look ridiculous? Like, what did they do to him? Like what is, I know he's a giant rat, but like, what is that thing? It's like, he just looks terrible, if you ask me. He looks awful. And, he doesn't look real at all. Like, not at all. Like, Gollum from Lord of the Rings looked more real in that world than Splinter does in the Turtles movie. So I think personally what they should have done for this one was they should have used practical and then go over it with CG afterwards to enhance it. But don't, like they did in the 90s movies, but don't just 100% make all 5 of them completely CG, because you're going to blow out your budget, and it's going to be, the movies wasn't that long. It was pretty short. The story wasn't that, there wasn't almost any story, to tell you the truth. It was basically just blah. And, we end up being left with seeing the Turtles barely at all at the beginning, at least. Once we get into it, yeah, there's the big action scenes and the fights, and some of them do look really cool. But they feel out of place to me for the most part. A lot of scenes, you're not seeing the whole Turtles. You're seeing, like, pieces of them cut off by the camera. The camera's shaky. It's too zoomed in at some parts. Other times it's zoomed out. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't look right. It's just... oh, man, I don't know. Is this a review or rant? I guess it's a review. So, yeah. Going in from there, we get into, let's go to about the middle of the movie. You've got the part where they get attacked by the Foot. And, it's exciting and stuff. Some of the scenes with the Foot are exciting. Seeing the Turtles kick ass is pretty exciting. It's pretty fun for what we do get to see when they're not avoiding showing us them because of the CG costs. That's pretty cool. The middle of the movie, I guess, in terms of the action is pretty decent. And to finish it off, the big action sequence at the end is cool. Shredder does look good. I think it's weird how they kind of turned Shredder into Megatron is the best person I can compare him to, because he's basically totally faceless. Like, they show the character of Shredder, but, we can't even see his face barely. We can see it's kind of charred or whatever, which reminds me of the 2012 Turtles, which is fine. But he has basically no story to him. He's the bad guy because he's the bad guy, and that's it. There's nothing else to it there. They changed the origin of the Turtles, where Megan Fox basically saved them, at the beginning, and that's why, and she rescued them and everything, and they were actually created in a lab by William Fichtner's character and Megan Fox, April's dad, and for the Shredder. And yeah, I mean, what is there to this aside from that, really? And then just the whole big action sequence at the end of the movie. There's the movie. There it is for you. It's to be honest with you, I feel like Nickelodeon, they're just trying to capitalize on having that license, having that Turtles license. They're trying to basically just make that money. They put out some really cool looking trailers with some really big epic action scenes, and people are saying, damn, big explosions, big, cars, Raph slamming into a car with his shell and all this other crazy stuff going on. I got to go see that, right? Which is, I mean, I was going to see it anyway because I watch everything Turtles, but, I was amped for it. At first I was like, wow, that looks good. And then you start to look at it more, you start to see Splinter, you start to see the others. No wonder they didn't show Splinter much in the trailers. I mean, God. Aside from that, that's the movie. That's it. That's really all it is, guys. I mean, in terms of a non-spoiler review and how much more details I can go into it than that, the story is almost non-existent. The action's cool. It looks good with regards to the Turtles, but the direction, the camera, and the angles and the zoom, the sizes are all out of warp and weird, and it just doesn't feel right. In terms of an age range, I say this is a fine kind of movie for maybe, I want to say like older kids to teenagers. That type of range is fine. But for people that aren't, like for me personally, I don't like CG that much. CG for me, it's okay, but you kind of have to limit it, sometimes. And this is why, is because you get into situations like this where CG is good, but we've had movies like Avatar and that where they do a great job with it. But you gotta, I think movie makers do have to be careful with it, because you get into situations like this where it just, I mean, the turtles themselves are tough to deal with. They're tough to do, but personally, I prefer them in practical effects, and I do prefer all the live action, 90 movies turtles over this one. I think they look better. I think they look like they belong in that world better, and it makes more sense overall. So, aside from that, that's pretty much all I got for you guys. It's a very generic, bland story, so I can't really analyze it that much. The action's fun. It's silly fun. Some of the comedy's good, and yeah, that's pretty much all I got. All I got for you guys. Will the Shredder come back? Will they do another one? I don't know. Probably. There's the mutagen beside him and whatever, so who knows? Maybe he'll turn to Super Shredder and come back. And yes, you even have Raph saying Cowabunga. You have the dialogue at the end where he, says he loves his brothers and everything like that, that was good. I mean, that was fine, because it kind of made us think of like, all the times we've seen turtles in the past. That's kind of something new. But all in all, it just didn't do it for me personally. Not that I hated it. I did enjoy it still, but I can definitely say that I can't recommend it to anybody. And if you're not a huge Turtles fan, you probably won't like it at all. You'll just think it's crap. I'll say about halfway through the experience, I was like, wow, this is just so some parts so amateur. The acting doesn't even look good. It doesn't feel legit, and it's just like, wow, this is just so, I don't know. It's just so fabricated. It feels so fake that I can't even get into the experience at all. So in terms of a score, like I said in the non-spoiler review, I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 10. I think that's fair. I thought maybe I could do more like a 6 or something. I can't say that. I want to be biased. I love the Turtles, but for an average viewer, this is like a 4.5, to tell you the truth. So it's a fail. Yeah, it's a fail. It's unfortunate because I love the Turtles and I wanted to like this one a lot, but it's just not what it needed to be. So there's the spoiler movie review for you guys. Not to say that I don't want to hate on it and say that nobody can like it or whatever. I mean, if you enjoy it, great. I'm happy for you. Certainly certain parts of it are really cool. With the action sequences like the final battle and stuff is really epic. We haven't seen Turtles of that grand scale yet, so that is pretty cool. But yeah, all in all, as a movie, unbiased, being a Turtles fan, that's what I'd have to rate it as. So if you guys agree with me, or if you just kind of like the review, like to hear what I had to say, please thumb it up below. If you want to help support the channel, please share it, favorite it, and I'll call it here. That's it for this video, guys. See you for the next one. This is Trev. I'm saying peace.